I'm Alicia from Code and Wonder. By the end of this video, you'll know how to give your components superpowers using the new visibility functionality Webflow released this week. Until now, conditional visibility could only be used outside of components. That meant that if you're building component first or working with CMS items, you often had to unlink a component just to add conditional logic. You might also be familiar with the visibility prop, which lets you show or hide specific elements inside a component. But these two features never really worked together until now. With this new update, Webflow has brought the power of conditional visibility directly into the visibility prop and expanded it even further. This makes component-first builds even more flexible and powerful. So let's walk through the new features and see how they can generally level up your components. Let's start with the simple case, a toggle. You can still use the visibility as a basic on and off switch, but now you can also give a custom label. This is useful when you want the toggle to be more descriptive than just visible or hidden. For example, you might label it as something specific like show heading or hide heading. Or if the toggle controls multiple elements, you could also use something more abstract, such as a simple card versus a complex card. This small change already makes components much cleaner and easier to use, especially for non-technical editors. Now, let's move on to a more complex logic. Even when you're not working with CMS pages or collections, you can now apply conditional visibility rules with components. Let's take a button that can optionally have an icon on the left or on the right. Previously, you might have used two separate toggles, one for the left and one for the right icon, instructing the client to never use both at once. Instead, we can now merge the two into a single toggle with two labels, left and right. And to do this, we create a new toggle in the Properties panel and rename the labels to reflect left and right icon. Then on each icon element, we add conditional visibility rules. One icon is visible when left is selected, and the other is visible when right is selected. The result is a single clean toggle that controls icon placement using only native Webflow functionality. Now, conditional visibility gives you a wide range of conditions to work with. You can check whether something is or is not a specific value, whether a field is set or not set, whether text contains, omits, starts with, ends with a certain word. For example, imagine you currently have a toggle that controls whether some text is visible. Instead, you can link visibility to whether the text field is actually set. If no text is entered, it simply doesn't show. That removes the need for an extra toggle entirely. You can also combine multiple conditions using OR logic. This effectively reads, if this is true, do this, or if that is true, do that. Otherwise, do something else. Another powerful case is variant-based visibility. This allows you to show or hide elements depending on which variant is selected. For example, here I have two different hero layouts, each built with a completely different HTML structure. I've created two variants called horizontal and vertical. For each layout, I add individual visibility rules. If the variant is vertical, show the stacked layout. If the variant is horizontal, show the row layout. You might wonder why I'd use conditional visibility instead of simply setting display block or display none properties inside of each variant. There are two main reasons. First, I'd usually need extra wrapper divs and additional classes to manage that. More importantly, the CSS display property works client-side. That means the hidden layout is still loaded into the DOM, even if it's not visible. With the new conditional visibility, this logic is handled server-side. If any element is hidden, it's not loaded at all, which can improve performance as well. Finally, let's look at CMS-driven conditional visibility. And this is what we're here for. Previously, if you wanted to use CMS conditions with a component, you had to unlink it. But that's no longer necessary. In this example, we have a CMS-powered blog list, but not every blog post has an image. So we can use conditional visibility to only show the image if it's being set. Or you can also add conditions based on whether a post is featured, whether a category exists, and much more. This opens up a lot of flexibility without breaking your component structure. This is the new conditional visibility in Webflow as of January 2026, because more features are already on the way, and this video might age fairly quickly. But for now, I hope this gives you a clear overview of what's possible and how these updates can really give your components superpowers. So, see you next time.